Hello everybody, this is Ghost Hunter 385. What's this? Oh, of course, chaos. But in any case, this is Ghost Hunter 385. I'm back with more StarCraft 2 and commentary and topics for everybody. Alright. Oh, your beloved Emperor isn't the kind of person you thought he was, Donnie. Such morality shaken. So sad. His will is all broken. Because guess what? His beloved Emperor turned out to be the bad person that he was said to be. The horror, the shock, the inhumanity of it all. Yay. What do you think happens when that beloved leader you cherish in your heart so much turns out to be a murdering, maniac? Bleh. Well, what do you know? Show him the... Well, considering that Thor Assault Walker is more practical than the Odin, I mean, when you think about the logistics to deploy something like that, yay. I mean, come on, think about that for a minute. Think about the energy fuel, whatever the thing burns. Ooh, let's see, what do we get here? See, yes, we will get that improved bombardment because it acts more like the Odin's bombardment. We're going to get that. And then, yes, we will get this psionic leash because it's also very effective against Ultralisks too. Alright, what's Tychus got to say? Becoming a professional broadcaster. Oh, what raw appeal of that variety do you have, Tychus? I mean, sure, take you out of the suit and you're all buff looking and you got that prison body that a lot of inmates have and blah 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 blah, but still, in terms of charm and personality, bruh, you are lacking. I mean, Jim has class here, folks. Jim Raynor, that boy has some class. Really, offering a whole research staff for beryllium storage? Why does gas storage need to have its... That doesn't make any sense. Alright, ooh, secret mission, let's do this. Yeah. Cast in our system... Meteor Laboratory. I actually would very much like a place like that. I mean, when you think about doing science projects, I mean, it's the kind of place where you can do all kinds of projects and not have to deal with, governments wanting to intrude on your experiments. I mean, come on, there's just that appeal to it. I mean, what scientist wouldn't want a laboratory where you could conduct research, not necessarily unethical research, mind you here, but research to where you aren't disturbed by some regulatory body coming in, banging on the door, and like, let us inspect everything. Yeah. Careful's my middle name. I thought it was Eugene. Ha, Matt. Ha. James Eugene Raynor. There's a name. Well, in any case, everybody, let's start with today's topic. And today's topic is Gillette's The Bester Men commercial. Now people will sit there and say, why are you talking about this commercial? It came out years ago. Because the biggest problem with this toxic masculinity commercial that was so toxic was the fact that it was based on the false notion well, false notions, let me correct myself, that men are teaching boys to act a certain way. And it's like, huh? Now, some people might sit there and say, Ghost Hunter, what are you talking about? Men teach boys to do bad things. And it's like, I can sit here and rant about this subject, but I'm not. Instead, I'm going to go through what amounts to not evidence per se, but stuff that can be looked up and that is believable here, folks. I'm not going to go into theory here. Okay, first things first, start off. Divorce, guess what? I think it's right around 80% or more are initiated by women for whatever reason they choose. And seeing as that most states have no-fault divorce, I mean, there are states where there are still false statutes like adultery and other stuff. But, more than 80% of divorces are initiated by women, a.k.a. by the mother. Point 1, 2, and according to a lot of fathers' rights groups, who gets the majority of custody? Not the men, the women. Now, there might be cases where there be exceptions, like the mother decides to, I don't know, move in with an abusive butthead, and the father actually gets it reported, and the judge is like, bang, 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 dad gets full custody, blah-bitty, blah-bitty, blah. Sure, those situations happen. Those situations happen, but are they the norm? Not by a long shot. I mean, just think about my parents' case here. In the case of my parents' divorce, my mother received full custody, and my father got visitation once a week on like Wednesdays, something like that. It's been too long since I really remembered. I mean, for me, this was what? Jeez, well over 20, what? Let's just go with like 24, 25 years ago that this was going on. And as much as I tried to remember, I could only remember so much. But anyway, the point is that in this commercial they're sitting there saying that men are not, what's the word I'm looking for here, are teaching boys to be toxic. And my answer to that is you're joking, right? How can a man teach his kids to be toxic when he never sees them? Now, some people might sit there and say, what about your case? Well, my case is I actually liked my dad, and I liked being around him. So when he would talk, I would listen. I mean, it's not like, I just sat there and was like, okay, Dad. I mean, no one sits here and talks about how there are cases where men go out, try talking with their kids, and blah, 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 and they try and impart them their values, and mom will not let them see them. Now, some people might sit there and say, that's not, blah, blah, blah. That's baloney, or bologna. And, my general answer to that is, in my wife's case, she got to see her dad less frequently than I did. But she still liked her dad more than she liked her own mom. Now, it did fall along the lines that her dad did, buy more for her, do more things for her. Yeah, that's true. But on the flip side of that, my wife's mother is no peach. She got hooked on drugs, just to say the bare minimum here. I'm not going to say anymore because I could go on more. But in any way, then her dad, tried to impart his better values. Because I'm not going to lie, the man has a temper, and it's cooled off in the years because he doesn't have the, I guess the, what's the word I'm looking for here? He can't build up the steam like he used to anymore because he got old. These are, there are parents who have bad traits who try to do the good thing here, folks. So my point here is that, how can a man who more often than not doesn't even get shared custody gets, visitation on maybe once a week or maybe every other weekend, and mom doesn't really care. She gets kids most of the time, and she's constantly late, or she sits there, well, maybe she's had a glass of wine or a bottle of wine, and she's telling the kids about everything they hate about their father. The kid's father. How do I know that's true? Guess what? My mother did that. They always ranted and raved about these specific instances where my dad did bad. There was no other explanation. It's just he was bad. He didn't do X. He didn't do Y. He didn't do Z. Yet, my mother couldn't be bothered to be reminded of the fact that, one, my father, after they got married, was a drill reservist Navy sailor who was doing that, working full time, and then he was also going to the university for a BA full time. Now, some people might sit there and say, so that doesn't excuse his actions. Okay, well, if somebody's working themselves to the cusp of, straight exhaustion, it's called, maybe he needs to lower his plate a little, take some stuff off of his plate a little bit here, so that way he can focus more on what he should be doing. But no, dad is a bad man. When it's like, I'm not even allowed to be a father. I'm so busy doing X, Y, and Z that I'm not allowed to be a father here. Does this not bug anybody at all? From there, toxic behaviors, like a guy sees an attractive woman down the street and it's like, hey baby, let me get your number. And it's like, this is pure damage to our society. You see that commercial and it's like, bro, I don't even approach women anymore. Why don't I approach women anymore? Couldn't be that, I approach a woman like, hey, sweet thing. And she just looks up from her phone, rolls her eyes, and it's like, what the heck do you want? You're not even my type. And if she's nice enough, she'll tell you that. And I'm dead serious about that. If she's nice enough, she'll tell you you're not her type. Otherwise, she just gives you the eye roll and just walks away because it's like, ugh, not another one. And even nowadays, go watch It's Complicated. And, you want to know what women are complaining about nowadays is men will not approach them anymore. And it's like, gee, I wonder why. Why don't I approach a woman? Because to me, there's no point. Ghost Hunter, what do you mean there's no point? Straight and simple. This isn't about me, quote unquote, doing the math back in high school. This is about, am I afraid of rejection? No, has nothing to do with that. It's just, what's the point? There's no point in approaching a woman nowadays. I'm more concerned about, I'm more worried about the cops getting called because I dared approach a woman who was like, oh my god, this guy is fat, fugly, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I can't even believe he's approaching me. Ew. Get him away from this creep away from me. It's like, why bother? And then as for little boys wrestling, that's not toxic. Kids need to learn to demonstrate, not demonstrate, but they need to learn to exist with each other, especially in the family environment. And sometimes the wrestling comes. Now, I mean, when it's like two kids are just like, I'm gonna kick your butt, and they're obviously play fighting. You know, I'm just gonna sit there like keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't get too far. I mean, I've had to break up where kicks were being thrown, slaps were being thrown. I've had to break those up. Yeah, that's where you take things too far, because there's a difference between play and, you know, actually hurting each other. You know, Gillette's toxic masculinity commercial was nothing more, in my opinion, than a hit piece. And then it also alienated, you know, a lot of men who like their product. I like Gillette razors, but am I willing to spend the money on to buy them without a substantial discount? Oh, heck no. Why would I want to buy from a company that sits there and says, you're evil, you're toxic? It's like, hell no. I'm not wasting my money on your product. I mean, the backlash from men when it happened was I got I got Facebook posts of guys trashing all of their Gillette products. I mean, come on, think about it for a minute, folks. If you're going to sit there and alienate more than half of your customer base, what do you think they're going to do? Now, of course, the following meme of, did they already pay for it? Oh, good, we already got their money anyway. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, that still happened. But whatever. Look, the point is that commercial was so misinformed that it's ridiculous. Now, some people might sit here and say, Ghost Hunter 385, how is that commercial uninformed? It's toxic masculinity. Well, here's the problem. How can something be toxic if it's not taught by the man? I mean, it's kind of along the lines of, how is this male behavior? Is it male behavior to sit there and look at a beautiful woman and be like, I want a piece of that, and then, you know, you go and try and hit the phone number, you try to get the phone number and be like, hey, sweet thing, how are you? Send. You know, it's sad, really. But in any case, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I made my point here. Thank you very much. Bang the bell, subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys in the next video.